You know, I feel like there's a lot of guys out there that are obsessed with alpha male culture, and I'm going to talk about why you should just completely abandon that in this video today. How's it going, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. My name is Chad, and this is the Hopeful Homestead. And in this series of videos, I like to sit out here, either outside by the fire or, in the cabin here with a cup of coffee in hand. And I like to think I'm talking to all the husbands and dads out there about all the difficult things in life we have to deal with. And today I wanted to shed some light on the whole concept of being an alpha male. I feel like there's a lot of guys who get caught up in a lot of the culture online and just in the world in general of you need to be an alpha male. You need to have your chest puffed out and you need to dominate and be the guy everyone looks to because you're the alpha. Well, there might be a time and place for that kind of a mentality in some ways, for sure. I heard a quote a couple of months ago that was talking about you don't want to be an alpha male. You want to be a sigma male. And you're probably thinking, what does that mean? Let's first define what an alpha male is. And what this person that was talking about this quote that I'm referencing in this podcast I was watching was saying was, I think it was the psychologist that was talking about it. And what he was essentially saying is that an alpha male needs someone to defeat. An alpha male needs a foe, needs someone who he views as lesser than him to defeat in a public manner, to feel validation for who they are as a person, as a man. So an alpha male actually is operating a lot of times from a perspective of being insecure, not feeling secure enough of knowing that their value of who they are without the validation coming from defeating someone and being done in a way that lets people know that they're superior. So alpha males will seek out, in whatever industry they're in or friendship circles they're in, they'll seek out people to defeat, either in just small personal conversation, defeating them in some sort of small way to make them seem like a better person or a bigger person, or in literal bigger ways, and think that plays out pretty clearly in world politics and the history of the human race and warfare. What this was essentially saying is that you want to be a sigma male. And what is a sigma male? A sigma male is someone who's actually more confident in who they are as a man than an alpha male is. A sigma male doesn't need a foe, doesn't need someone to falter or fall at the knees of them to validate who they are. A sigma male is perfectly fine being alone in the woods on their own, doing their own thing, protecting their family, providing for their family, not being interested in the banter, the public square banter that puffs up their image. A sigma male doesn't care about that. A sigma male knows their value, knows their purpose, and has no doubt in that, and doesn't need someone to defeat in order to feel validated. And so I remember thinking, you know what, that sounds right. And I've never been the type of guy that feels like I need to constantly one-up someone or step on someone's toes or defeat them in order to feel like I've had validation. And so for me, I thought, maybe that's what I am. Maybe that's what I need to really hone in on being, is just a sigma male. I don't give a crap about being the tallest guy in the room and making sure everyone knows it. If anything, I don't even want to be in the room. I want to be outside of the building in the woods by myself, clearly in a little cabin that I built on 20 acres by myself, talking to all you guys. That's where I feel more at home. As soon as I see anyone who has that mentality, that alpha male mentality of just puffing their chest out and being just a jerk just for the sake of trying to, look better, I immediately think, I don't respect you and I don't want anything to do with you. My tip to you guys is, make sure you're aware of this. If you're the type of guy who feels like you need to defeat someone all the time and you think of yourself as an alpha male, gut check yourself, man. Why do you feel like you need to do that? And if you're the type of guy who's never been interested in that, and you feel like society has labeled you as being lesser than or weaker just because you don't have any interest in being that type of guy, or when you're in a public setting and you feel like you want to sort of stick to the corners and you don't really want to be part of the banter with all of the macho people going on that are, trying to puff each other's chest out to each other, there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, I think there's actually validation in the fact that you're not interested in that. You're the one who's actually more confident in yourself and who you are and what you're doing. For me, as a husband and father, as men, as husband and fathers, being a sigma male is actually the best way to protect and provide for your family. Because if you're being an alpha male and needing to go out into the public sphere to find someone to defeat all the time, to validate yourself, that's going to bring in confrontation and fights and problems to your family. If you just have confidence in who you are and you don't give a crap about what anybody thinks, then you can be that sigma male that's just the leader of your family and you can protect and provide for them. And that's all that actually matters, right? So that's going to do it for today's video. Be a Sigma male. Don't be caught up in the act of trying to be some alpha male. It's not worth it, and it only actually causes problems. So remember this when you're handling yourself in the world now, and maybe you'll be a little bit better for it. But all right, guys, again, my name is Chad. This has been an episode of The Hopeful Homestead. Thanks for watching. And if you feel like sticking around today, I've got a video right here that's all about the need to be a dangerous father and what it actually means to be one. So go check that out, and I'll see you over in that video. Thanks for watching, guys.